All right, guys, so the new iPhone 16e is here. Let's check it out. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the SE lineup, this is basically the successor to that lineup where it's that inexpensive version of the iPhone, but with some of the latest features. Ooh. We got the black version. Surprisingly, there are only two versions, the black and white. Now, immediately you might notice we've got a single camera in the back. And they went with Apple's 48 megapixel Fusion camera. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but let's go ahead and pop off the screen protector. There we go. Now, this is following a lot of the cues of the newer lineup. So we have that action button over here, and there's a special add-on that they went with for this, which we'll talk about later as well. But now we're also looking at USB Type-C, and this is based on an older model of the iPhone, so we do still have the notch. No dynamic island over here. So we've got some of those new hardware features. Unfortunately, we don't have that camera control, so no extra button over here like we're seeing with the others in the 16 lineup, but I feel like that's okay. In order to keep the price down, I'm kind of fine with them leaving that out. But with this new design, this means there's no longer an iPhone being sold with the home button. Touch ID is officially dead. Unfortunately, I loved Touch ID.
My Shayla!
Listen, Apple, I know you're watching. You sent this. Make the power button have Touch ID. We've seen it done with the iPad. Give it back to us. We like Touch ID. Anyway, Touch ID is no longer a thing. Home button's not a thing. This lineup has caught up to the present. And what's nice here is that it also has the present chip found in all of the 16 models, but also Apple Intelligence. So we're looking at that A18 chip, which gives us access to a lot more power and efficiency. Now, what's crazy to me is like, this feels tiny. It feels like a tiny phone because I'm used to the iPhone 16 Pro Max, which has a 6.9-inch display, while this one has a 6.1-inch display. And the regular iPhone 16 also has a 6.1-inch display. So for me, it feels tiny, but it's not as tiny as like the SE from back in the day. This one's, like I said, in the present. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and set this up, and we're gonna talk about the other things that this brings to the table that we don't have on any other iPhone right now. All right, you guys, so we are all set up, sort of. You know, it's still downloading a bunch of my apps and whatnot, but we can still talk about what else is new. So we've got that single camera. So when you jump into the Photos app or the camera app, it's still that nice 48 megapixel camera. Now they say it's, you know, two cameras in one because it has that zoom that you can do. So you have those two focal lengths that you can choose between. This is gonna give you a 24 megapixel shot versus a 12. They both use the same sensor and lens, obviously. How far can you go? Up to a 10 times zoom. And let's see. Oh, it cleaned it up pretty well. Now, what's also nice is since this does have the A18 chip, you get Apple Intelligence, which means you can get some of those cool AI features. So if you want to go ahead and, let's say, clean something up in this photo, you can go in right here, edit, and then boom, that yellow pencil is gone. So that's cool. You still get features like this where you can use cleanup. And with this having Apple Intelligence, you get that new Siri. Now, here's why I like Apple Intelligence on this device in particular. So this is that inexpensive version of the iPhone, something you'll probably get, I don't know, for grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, someone who's not really super tech savvy. So that makes some of the features with Apple Intelligence perfect for that demographic who might not know how to do everything on the phone. Let's say they want to figure out how to make the text bigger on their phone. They can now just ask Siri, how do I make the text bigger on my phone? And then right here, it tells you everything you need to know. And for me, that's nice because as someone who always has to do tech support for my parents, them be able to just ask the phone how to do something should be able to save me a lot of time. Now, last thing I'll say about Apple Intelligence is that you're gonna be able to do some cool stuff with that action button here. So with the action button, you obviously can go through a bunch of different stuff, but now you have visual intelligence. So with visual intelligence, you can basically point your phone at something and it'll give you all the information about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and map visual intelligence to mine. And being able to access visual intelligence right from here is great considering there's no camera control button so that you can get access to it. So I just have my action button, I press it, I hold it to open it, and then boom, visual intelligence. All right, let's see if it knows Venom and Spider-Man. So when you tap that little icon, It'll ask ChatGPT for more information. We'll accept that. We'll enable ChatGPT. What characters are these? This is a sculpture featuring Venom and 2 Spider-Man figures capturing a dynamic battle scene. Venom is known for his powerful and aggressive nature in the Marvel Universe, yada, yada, yada. And the whole idea here is being able to take a picture of something and have the phone identify it for you. Even if you're outdoors, maybe in front of a store, and you want more info on the store, you can just use this to pull it up. And it should pull up all the obvious things you might want, like phone numbers, hours of operation, menus, that kind of thing. So you can pull up a bunch of information there. But it's also nice if you want to just find something on the web. So if I hold this for visual intelligence, I can just search. It'll search Google, and then boom. Here you have a bunch of options. You have links to stores, videos it looks like, and that's really useful. So obviously Apple Intelligence makes sense here, but something new that's also in here is actually a modem. So Apple has just come out with their own modem. It is the C1, and this is supposed to be a very power efficient modem. So even compared to the modem that we have in the rest of the 16 lineup, this is actually 25% more efficient. And since it's more power efficient, that means we're gonna see better battery life out of something like this compared to if it had the previous modem. It's crazy. Apple's just like, my chip, my modem. They're gonna own the whole thing soon. What's left? Camera, screen. Yeah. They're working on it. But all right, now we've got this here. I mean, we gotta look at these cases, right? These are all of the new silicone cases that Apple has come out with. These colors look good, but you already know. Yeah, right, Gene. Ooh, dang, man. That's clean. Now, I'm always a big fan of the silicone cases because the grip that they provide, man, these always feel really good in the hand. All of the colors look pretty good. You really can't go wrong, but I'm definitely biased. Now, I don't know how many of you have been waiting for iPhone 16e, but there's definitely a huge market for it. But we're gonna put it through to the test, put it through a real day in the life, let you guys see how much you actually get out of a $600 iPhone. So definitely stay tuned. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do that so you don't miss that video. Later.